Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News. Let's meet an indie agency. We go to Los Angeles. We go to Milan. I'm not kidding, by the way. So everyone's like, yeah, you're full of shit. I'm like, no, this is true. Chris is in Milan. Hello to both of you.
Hi, Doug.
Well,
hello.
Well, welcome. So first of all, thank you so much for your support. Glad to have you. I love it's I'll use a nautical term. I love the cut of your jib. I like what this company does. I like what this agency believes in. I just think what you do is interesting as hell. And I love that you're adding to the conversation of what we're doing at Indie Agency News. So what I want to get a take on, though, is how this whole thing got started. So who wants to kick us off?
Kirsten, go for it.
Yeah,
Kirsten should probably go for it, considering it says co-founder.
Well, as Chris is as well.
You know what? You didn't tell me that, Chris. All right,
I know. Co-founders, ideas.
Oh my gosh! Look at you! Look at you being so there. Fine, Kirsten, go.
So we met. Maybe. Oh, can we swear? Sorry, Doug.
Yeah. Go ahead.
15 years ago, maybe longer than that. 18 years ago, at an agency in New York. So it was an experiential agency. And I came on board as chief creative officer there. And Chris was the first person I brought on board. And together we built up the agency from 30 people to 230 people, from one office to 4 offices, including London, through an acquisition. And we then positioned and sold the agency. So went through that whole process, led the process, and ultimately sold to WPP. Not my agency, not our agency, but did that for somebody else. And that's really how we met. So it really was, we like to say, it was really love at first sight. We just really connected. We spoke each other's kind of shorthand really immediately, and went through this amazing process of running and building an agency, and the team and the parts and pieces of it together in a very, very quick, but very, very hyper growth time.
Mm-hmm. Now here's, I think you have a lot of clarity in what it is you do, but at the same time, in getting to know you and getting to know the agency a little bit, there is a slightly wider swath. And really, again, like I said, the work that you're doing is really interesting. And agencies are, quote, best known for something. A lot of agencies are, especially if they've been around for a while. What would you say the agency is best known for, and what your top 3 strengths are? Because usually, again, agencies have a long list of stuff, but usually 3 rise to the top. Chris, what would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about this question, and I would say repositioning brands, typically legacy brands that are maybe like have lost their way, or think that they have this older consumer that is, and they need a younger consumer. We work a lot with brands like that, who need to kind of re-enter, make themselves relevant again. And we do that through repositioning the brand, very like action-oriented approach to kind of repositioning versus this like cerebral exercise of like, we're gonna go silo for 2 years and come out and it's like we have a tagline. Like, that's not how we work. Yeah. I would say our 3 strengths, beyond the repositioning portion of it, I would say culture playbooks. So we do a lot of that, like, where should we sit in culture? Where do we need to go? We often work with brands that have an older consumer, and my latest soapbox is don't get down on an older consumer. Actually, an older consumer is quite relevant, and can be relevant to younger consumers. So we do a lot of that work. And then I would say the last thing that people know us for is the newsletter. We have a very thriving Substack with more than 14,000 people on it now, mostly CMOs and CEOs, a lot of venture capitalist people. And we have them tuning in every week for cultural insights, trend insights, marketing. And that's how a lot of people know us now.
Chris, note the color of the hair. Talk about You know, I once used to color my hair. I looked like a tired 28-year-old.
I'd like to see pictures.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So as I'm finding that.
Yeah, receipts, please. Receipts.
Yeah. Of course. Kirsten, let's talk about why being an indie is so important to you and the team here. I am legitimately going to find a picture of.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, I think independent is so important to us for many reasons. Kind of a lot of it is rooted in the story that I told. We were a part of another agency and grew that agency and ultimately sold and saw that process and what that really means. And I think throughout Chris and my career, independently, as well as together, sharing our voice in the way that we feel is really true and really on point and meaningful is always been an independent one, and isn't about making sure that we're toning it down to speak within this or to only share what's relevant within this. We really speak the truth. And I think that's really important. And being an independent agency allows us really to create the rules and do what we believe is the right thing versus having kind of a holding company or being beholden to having to show up as in this way or that way.
Right. No, that makes total sense. Pause for a second, please, as I show you. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm fucking showing you all this.
Yes.
I can't wait.
God, there you go.
Oh my gosh.
God.
Amazing.
Where did it go? Hold on. Wait, it went away. Hold on.
I thought you were trying to do it as like
yeah,
no. I don't know. It's so there it is. There's my headshot.
That's
it's like
incredible.
okay, I'm done doing voiceover. I'm gonna be an actor now. I'm like, look at that.
I mean, these glasses though are kind of back in style now. So
No, I don't. No, well, for the longest time I was doing this like Scandinavian thing where it's like,
I get that. I can see that.
It's enough of that.
I like it. Well, way better now, Doug. Way better.
Yeah.
Well, what's so funny is like if I just look tired. I was just like, oh my God. Yeah, no, my son found all of these. So this was like a whole roll of. He goes, "What the fuck is this?" And I was just like, "Yep, that's your old man, all right." Yep.
That's so rad. I love that.
You're definitely gonna have that like on a T-shirt from him as a gift or something like that.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. Okay, that is excellent. His birthday is the day after Christmas, so there you go.
Yeah, he'll love it. He'll love it.
I guess we'll find
or
out.
Or like a poster that he could hang up in his room.
I think that's gonna be better. Yeah,
or a blanket. A blanket. They make all the things.
Yeah, they do make all the things.
Yeah.
All the things.
A lot of possibilities here.
All right, so enough about me. Chris, what should brands know about working with you? What's the main reason a brand should work with you? I mean, you've mentioned obviously the Substack and a lot of places where you're tapping in. But what would you say if someone said, "Hey, what's the main reason a brand should work with you?" What would you say?
Ooh, I think the main reason is, again, if you're lost and I think a lot of brands are in this very reactive mindset, right? It's like TikTok this, da. We gotta like jump. And to be honest, like there is that you do need to kind of keep the pace. But if you are lost and you're like, I don't know what to do here, and you need a bigger picture strategy for how to actually respond well in those moments and know what to respond to, what not to respond to. Mm-hmm. I think that's what we do really well. We sit typically within the brand team. So we don't work in the same way as a typical agency where it's like, hey, you give us this brief, we go away for a month. We are sitting with them to figure out their business needs. And then we're building strategies that actually to respond to those things. So I think a lot of culture, trends forecasting, blah, 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 it lacks the action. And then I think a lot of creative tends to just be very reactionary at the moment. It's like, this one brand did this, so we want to do the same thing. And that's not going to move the needle for you either. So what we can offer is kind of the guidance for where to go and the help to actually get it done.
And that's the thing. It's like the whole thing of chasing is it's really rough, because you're right. You said something that's really interesting, keeping the pace. There's something in that where keeping the pace doesn't necessarily mean you're doing exactly what everyone else is doing. In fact, someone told me, they said, well, why aren't you doing all these social platforms? I said, yeah, I got all the time in the world and I've got a huge staff. No, I don't, but I have to be selective and smart, because really, in some ways, my goal is not to keep pace. My goal is to set the pace. So as it relates to indies, my whole thing is, well, I want to set the tone. I want to set the pace. What advice would you, and this is a little bit off topic, but also it's like a little more in depth of what you're saying. What would you say to a brand that feels like they have to chase and chase and chase? And that's for either of you, because again, it can be so easy to get stuck in that whole thing of, we're just going to be on a hamster wheel, right?
Yeah, and
go for it, Kirsten.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think the challenge with that is it's a never-ending hamster wheel. And that's
right.
really what strategy speaks to. And we really don't do anything without a strategy.
Right.
Because there's got to be design thinking behind it. There's got to be kind of positioning, a reason for being. We see the big picture, which may be years down the line, and then we work in the immediacy of that, of how to bring that to life. And you're going to continue to run on that hamster wheel, and because something new is always going to come into the zeitgeist, into the ether.
Right.
And until you have a strategy to really know what to say yes to, but probably even more important, what to say no to, you're going to run a hamster wheel. And sometimes it's going to work and sometimes it's not, but a long-term strategy is going to keep you around for the long term, where a hamster wheel is not.
I like the use of zeitgeist. There you go. Sean Connery. The late Sean Connery saying zeitgeist. Zeitgeist. I used to work for Scottish people. They're great. The drum. Oh yeah, the drum.
Yeah.
And so none of them, they would be like, yeah, your Scottish accent's shit. And I'm like, yeah, no, I get that. It's cartoony in the same way.
Better than most.
That's, I don't know. It was back in the radio days. Back then, you couldn't just ring somebody up and be like, hey, I need a Brit. It's like, can you do a Brit? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. So there is, I gotta see if I can find it, a regional campaign for Napa Auto Parts. And when I say regional, I'm talking about like small markets. So Kirsten, you're in Los Angeles. So imagine a campaign being run in Visalia and Solvang, like all these tiny little markets dotted around. Not even Bakersfield, not even Ontario, not even Ojai. I mean, it's just, and it's me. This guy was just like hellbent on writing this thing about auto parts using Sean Connery's voice. It was one of the worst things I've ever done, and also one of the most awesome things. I'm going to see if
sounds amazing. It sounds like we also have to take a look at that.
Well, no, there was this farm equipment called a clevis, and it's like, oh, what's that? It's a clevis. And it's just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Oh my goodness, I love it.
I don't know. It was above SAG-AFTRA rates. That's all I care about. Let's talk about talent. Why should talent, whether they are looking for full-time or looking to be a partner as a freelancer, why should they be putting all of you on their list? Kirsten, let's start with you.
Yeah, and that's always been an amazing connection for us. We really started the agency with the mindset of really wanting to create the best space for talent, whether that's, so we haven't had an office since inception because we think nobody wants to work at a cubicle. People want to work from the wing when it was around, or Soho House, or whatever it might, or their apartment, whatever it might be. And so we've created really an environment to make sure that people are doing their best work. And that's been a fundamental value since we started. And ultimately now the way that we work is really within a collective. Luckily, I've been doing this for a minute, and we have an amazing team of people that quite honestly want to continue to stay independent. They don't want to go in-house anywhere. They're at the top of their game. And they want to come on to projects and work with a team that they're personally interested in and have some insight into and have some experience in, and enjoy doing that. And we really do that. We really handpick to say, this is the right photographer, this is the right copywriter for this brand, for this project that we're working on.
Makes total sense. Would you consider yourselves weirdos, misfits, or underdogs?
Yes.
All of the above.
Which do you have one that you maybe? Let me use a corporate speaky word. Over-index for.
Yeah.
We circle
I
back.
would say misfits, probably.
Misfits?
Yeah.
I think that works. I
Yeah.
think that works. Why is that?
Well, I would say not weirdos, because one of the things that I think that we do really well is I can spend a lot of time looking at things that I do spend a lot of time looking at things that are very fringe, that feel weirdo to a lot of people, that when you're in it, they're not weirdo to you, but like from the outside, they feel weirdo. And I am a translator of that to like make it work for a brand, right? So I consider myself to be a weirdo in a lot of things, but not like one particular weirdo specialty. Whereas the misfits, I think we don't approach projects. We don't approach anything with the mindset of like, this is how it's been done before. This is how it has to be. Your brand has to work like that. Your brand has, you're this beauty brand and you have to behave like a beauty brand. We often say, don't behave like a beauty brand. You should be looking at other things and other categories. We don't need another auto brand that drives the same like windy road in their commercial. Like no one needs that. And so I would say misfits, because we refuse to just do it the way it's been done, because it's been done that way. It just doesn't work, and it's not what people want.
Yeah, true. Let's get to this last one. Whether they are an existing client or not, who's a CMO or marketer you want to say hello to? We go to Los Angeles, and I'm going to ask you about Milan here in a second, Chris.
Kirsten?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's many brands on the list, but I think Walmart, like the Walmart CEO, Walmart CMO is somebody I'd love to chat with. I think it's really about, there's such opportunity in that brand. And we've actually done some concepting and some creative for their internal team. And I think that's just such an opportunity to really push and do something new. And I think they're close to having the appetite for that.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Chris, give us a good Italian brand.
An Italian brand. Oh my goodness. That's not where my head was going.
Back in the day, you know what Fiat used to stand for? Fix it again, Tony.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
I'm half Italian. Sure. I'm allowed to say those jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Why not Fiat? I'm not a big thing with auto brands, because quite honestly, I think there are very few of them who are cutting it in the world right now. And I think it's because they have this playbook. The playbook is old. No one wants it. And it's time to throw out the auto playbook and do something different.
Yeah, I get it. So how did you end up in Milan?
My husband's a mathematician. And it's a long story, but it's not because of me, it's because of him. But I'm on a world tour. I was in Zurich before, LA, New York. I've lived in Singapore. I've lived in Paris. Like I was born in London, so I am a child of the world, and plan to continue to be one.
Where'd you grow up in London?
I was born just outside of, in a town called Farnborough, which is just outside of London. I moved when I was 3 to Singapore. Huh?
That's where the air show is.
Yes, exactly. So, but I moved when I was 3 to Singapore and carried on. You know, I've never lived anywhere longer than 3 years.
So how long have you been in Milan?
I have been in Italy now for a year and a half.
Okay, so you're halfway through. All right, cool. We'll see what's next. So mathematician, so you could end up at like University of Nebraska next or something? Could be?
Not likely.
I mean, he asked about Tennessee the other day, and I was like, what about Copenhagen? You know.
Nashville.
You know what? I have found, I've lived in Cincinnati for a while. I find my people wherever I end up.
Yeah.
So the world is exciting.
But, it's a nice state.
Yeah, you know.
Well, you're always welcome to come to Oregon. So there you go.
I love Oregon. I mean, except that, you know, for the first 5-6 times I went to Oregon, it was sunny, and I thought everyone had been lying, and that was just how they kept people out. And then after that, I never saw the sun again every time I visited. So that would be a killer for me. I do love the sunshine.
Well, the thing is, it's like a 2-hour flight to LA, two and change to San Diego. So, and actually, if you go east, if you go into Central Oregon, over 300 days of sun a year. So, so there you go. It's like Colorado. All right, listen, first of all, thanks for giving me shit about my past headshot. Most importantly, though, I appreciate your support. It means a lot to me. Again, the brief on this thing is to build a global home for independent agencies. It's 2 key words there: global and home. We want people to feel as though this is their home. And I'm just really stoked to see the future of what you've got going, and appreciate everything you bring to the work.
Thank you.
Thank you.